Concorde experience. All right, this is going to be some questions from the listeners. Oh, look at this. Billy in the sky with diamonds. Ba-da-ba-ba-doo. Long-time listener, first-time writer. You know, Bill, when I was younger, not even 20, I knew a man named BJ that flew on the Concorde. Oh, wow. I was talking about, I always wanted to fly from, JFK in New York to Paris on the Concorde. Just feeling like Roger Moore. The fucking white tuxedo. You can't be classy like Sean Connery. You got to be a little loud. I like Roger. Roger Moore was a little louder. A little more cheeky, as they say over there in fucking England. I knew a man named BJ that flew on the Concorde. He was an insurance salesman who cut his teeth as a B-52 bomber crewman during World War II when he was my age. Holy shit. I mean, if that's not one of the scariest fucking jobs ever. He was also dressed to the nines and was very amiable, a good soul. I wish I had that. I wish I was a classy older guy. One of those people that could wear a sport coat and a pocket square and not look like he's trying too hard. Unfortunately, most people from my generation, at least the people that I hang out with, yeah, they all dress like it's the first day of school in 8th grade. You know what I mean? They got like a hoodie. They got a, brand new Yankee hat, a Red Sox hat. You got to have the official one, right? And then you got a pair of clean basketball sneakers. And you can't tell them that they don't look good. All right? All of these guys that I know, Verzi, Giannis, I mean, they like Giannis pop, when they get a new pair of sneakers. It's one of my favorite things. Because I love those guys, when you love people, you want to see them happy. There's nothing better than seeing Paul Verzi get a new fucking, Yankee fitted and a new pair of fucking sneakers. I'm telling you, when Paul Verzi gets that on, he's suddenly 5'8.5". Anyway, he gained a passion for aviation from his time, going back to the thing here, in the service. I commend that guy. If I was in a plane and people were fucking shooting at me, and all my friends, weren't coming back and everything, I would think, I think I'm going to stay on the ground. Anyway, and was fascinated by the progression of that technology. He got to fly in the Concorde a few times because he was rich and he loved telling me about it. The luxury, the feeling of takeoff, and the power of the engines. Those were Rolls-Royce engines, I believe. It truly must have seemed like an alien technology to him. My mother told me stories about my grandfather, who was a radio operator for the Merchant Marines during the war, and his excitement over the new portable transistor radios. It must have been an incredible time to be alive. He gave me a few VHS tapes on planes and the Concorde itself. It still sits on my shelf as a memento. It truly was an amazing plane. Well, first of all, I got to tell you something, man. That guy is the old man that I want to be. Dressed to the nines, still doing cool shit, and then telling stories to younger people that makes them want to learn about stuff and then become a cool old guy. That's a big thing for me. Oh, speaking of which, you know what I didn't tell you guys? I went to the Whiskey last Thursday night, and for the first time since 1988, I saw Def Leppard live. But the first time I saw him was in Reynolds Coliseum in North Carolina. I had third row, and I was standing between Rick Savage and the late, great Steve Clark, right? Is that his name? I don't know. I'm going way back in the bank here. And they put on this amazing, amazing show, and that was the Hysteria Tour. So I had not seen them in 34 years, right? And so they were having an album release party. I downloaded their new album. You should check it out, man. It's a fucking good album. And what I loved when they came out on stage was they all looked great, and they were all having a great time. And I learned a lot just from watching that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I go out, and I still go see those bands, from when I was a kid. And when you go out and the band's not having fun anymore, it just becomes, really depressing. It makes you feel, it makes me feel about my own mortality, and I start thinking, oh, man, these guys are 10 years older than me. How much time did they have left? How much time do I have left? And you just feel awful. But when you go out and see a band like Def Leppard, it's the exact opposite. You don't think about your mortality. They like remind you to go out and live, you know, because there's a lot of people, they fucking quit, man. They quit. I swear to God, they quit early, 20s, 30s. They just quit. It's like they're serving out a fucking sentence, waiting for some pension. I don't know what. But they came out and they opened with one of their new songs. And I really liked it. I forget the name of it. And they played two new ones. They played this other one, Kick, that I really liked. And it had this great chorus that seemed like going to be a really good sing-along when they do for the crowd, when they do the baseball stadium tour. And they just went out and they killed it. They played a tight set, and it was for Sirius XM. It was like simultaneously cast or whatever. And what I love was Joe Elliott. He's singing better than he's ever sung, and he was really funny. So in between songs, I remember when they played like the last song, and he was just, I can't do the English accent, so forgive me. He was just like, right, this is the part where we usually walk off stage, and hopefully you'd keep clapping. So we come back for the encore, but, you know, it's tiny little space here, so why don't you just act like we fucked off, and now we're back, and just clap for us, and we'll play. And everybody was like, he was just really cool. He had that older Englishman, like, funny gentleman vibe, man. He just really cool dude. And it was also great, you know, just watching Phil Collin and Vivian Campbell shredding on guitar. And I remember watching, I was just like, I fucking miss this. I remember that, going to concerts and just watching those guys going up and down the neck like fucking wizards. And I was also watching their drummer, obviously, and his left leg the whole time was like dancing around back there. And I always knew, like, you know, when he first came back after his injury, that one of those, that he was playing the snare now rather than with his left arm, he was playing it with his left foot. But he had a bunch of pedals back there, and he was playing the fills perfectly that he played when he had two arms. So I was like, how's he doing that? Because especially one of the fills was like a flam with a kick, like blacka, blacka, da, 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 whatever, going down the kit. And he played the flam perfectly. So I'm like, because he also had a snare traditionally between his legs. And I'm like, is he playing a flam between his right hand and his left leg? That's incredible. And I actually looked at his setup online. His drum tech put it up. And I think he has, like, right in the middle is his snare drum. If he moves his foot to the left, I think that's a bass drum. So it's like bass drum, snare drum, and then the other pedal is a floor tom. And then on his bass drum foot, he has the bass drum. And then to the right, he has another floor tom. And I think he plays like doubles with his right hand, doubles with his kicks when he's doing like, with his kick foot when he's doing like 16th notes down the tom. It's fascinating. And the sound sources change. So he's kind of like a guitar player where he has to, like, you know, the drums, it's easy, like snare drum, kick. It's always there. With guitar players, it's like, all right, this is a G, but where on the neck am I playing the G? It's almost like that. But I got to say, you know, for all the troops out there, you know, you're coming back, if you have injuries and that type of stuff, I really suggest checking out his setup and hearing how amazing that he plays with three limbs and all of that, or anybody who's sustained an injury. That's what my first thought was, like, man, this guy should go to Walter Reed and inspire people, speaking of Memorial Day, on that, you know, it's not over. Like, there's still all this fun that you can have. And it's really like, it kind of reminded me of like, you know, self-taught guitar players out there that play like they're left-handed and they just picked up a right-handed guitar strung right-handed and they just made it work, and they come up with their own shapes to make the chords and stuff like that. It's sort of like he reinvented the drum kit, but he's been playing like that for like, I don't know, 35 years or so. So he's a master at it, and he fucking rips. So what I'm saying is when Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett all go out this summer, you should definitely check out that tour because, you know, these guys have like, I don't know how many decades of musicianship under their belt, and they're going to fucking kill it. So, sorry, that was a big sidetrack there, but I had to bring it up.